Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into a crucial topic that affects many of us: unhealed trauma. So often we go through life and things just feel hard, or we feel stuck in certain patterns. Sometimes these struggles are rooted in experiences from our past, experiences that have left an imprint on our hearts and minds. Recognizing these signs can be the first step towards healing. We're going to explore 5 common indicators that suggest you might be carrying the weight of unhealed trauma. Remember, awareness is the first step towards healing and growth. One of the most telling signs of unhealed trauma is emotional instability. This instability can manifest in various ways, often catching us off guard and leaving us feeling bewildered and out of control. Have you ever felt like your emotions are on a hair trigger? Like you're walking on eggshells, not knowing when the next emotional outburst will occur? Like one minute you're fine and the next you're overwhelmed with anger, sadness, or anxiety? These sudden shifts can be exhausting and disorienting, making it hard to trust your own emotional responses. This kind of emotional roller coaster is a common experience for those grappling with unhealed trauma. It's as if your emotions are on a constant loop, swinging from one extreme to another without any warning. You see, when we experience trauma, our nervous system goes into survival mode. This is a natural response designed to protect us from immediate danger. It's like our brain gets stuck in fight, flight, or freeze mode even when the danger has passed. This state of hyper-alertness can make it difficult to relax and feel safe even in non-threatening situations. This can lead to exaggerated responses to everyday stressors. Minor inconveniences or small conflicts can feel like major threats, triggering intense emotional reactions. Think about it like this. Imagine a car alarm going off every time a bird flies by. It's an overreaction to a harmless event, but it's how our brain tries to keep us safe. That's what it's like living with an overactive trauma response. The constant state of alertness can be draining, leaving you feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. Small triggers can set off intense emotional reactions that feel out of proportion to the situation. These reactions can be confusing and make it hard to understand why you're feeling so strongly. You might find yourself snapping at loved ones, bursting into tears unexpectedly, or feeling a pervasive sense of dread that you can't quite shake off. These reactions can strain relationships and make it difficult to connect with others. These emotional swings can be confusing and frustrating both for you and those around you. It's important to recognize that these reactions are not a reflection of your character, but rather a symptom of unhealed trauma. It's important to remember that these emotional responses are not your fault. They are a natural response to past experiences that have left a lasting impact on your nervous system. They are the echoes of past wounds that are begging to be heard and healed. Taking the time to understand and address these wounds can help you regain control over your emotions and find a sense of peace. Practices like mindfulness, meditation, and therapy can be incredibly helpful in managing these emotional responses. By learning to stay present and grounded, you can begin to break the cycle of emotional instability. Seeking support from a therapist or joining a support group can provide a safe space to explore your emotions and learn coping strategies. It's important to remember that healing is a journey, and it's okay to ask for help along the way. Journaling and self-reflection can also be powerful tools in understanding your emotional triggers and patterns. By gaining insight into your emotional landscape, you can start to make sense of your reactions and find healthier ways to cope. Self-care is another crucial aspect of managing emotional instability. Taking time to nurture yourself and engage in activities that bring you joy can help balance your emotions and reduce stress. Remember, healing from trauma is a process, and it's okay to take it one step at a time. Be patient with yourself and celebrate the small victories along the way. With time, support, and self-compassion, you can begin to heal from the past and create a more stable and fulfilling emotional life. You deserve to feel safe, loved, and at peace. So take a deep breath and know that you are not alone on this journey. There is hope and there is healing ahead. Another hallmark of unhealed trauma is difficulty trusting others. After experiencing a betrayal of trust, it's completely understandable to put up walls and be wary of letting people in. Trauma can shatter our sense of safety and security in the world, making it hard to believe that anyone can be trusted, even those who genuinely care about us. This can show up as suspicion, difficulty opening up to others, or a constant need for control in relationships. You might find yourself pushing people away, fearing that they will hurt you or abandon you just like someone did in the past. Or you might go to the other extreme, becoming overly dependent on others in an attempt to avoid further pain. The truth is, forming healthy, trusting relationships is an essential part of healing from trauma, but it's a process that takes time, patience, and a willingness to be vulnerable. Imagine walking through life feeling like you're constantly on edge, as if danger is lurking around every corner. Every step you take, every person you pass, feels like a potential threat. The world seems like a minefield, and you are perpetually bracing for an explosion. This is the reality for many people living with unhealed trauma, a state of being known as hypervigilance. It's not just a fleeting feeling of anxiety, it's a chronic state of heightened alertness that can dominate every aspect of your life. Hypervigilance is your nervous system's way of trying to protect you from further harm. When you've experienced trauma, your body and mind can become conditioned to expect danger, even when you're in a safe environment. Your heart races, your muscles tense, and your senses are on high alert. It's like your brain is stuck in overdrive, constantly scanning the environment for potential threats, even when there are none. This relentless vigilance can make it hard to relax, to trust, and to feel secure. This can manifest as feeling jumpy or easily startled. A sudden noise, a quick movement, or an unexpected touch can send your heart racing and your mind into a frenzy. Having trouble sleeping or concentrating, your mind is always on guard, making it difficult to fall asleep or stay asleep. During the day, this constant state of alertness can make it hard to focus on tasks, leading to frustration and fatigue, or being overly aware of your surroundings. You might find yourself constantly scanning the environment, looking for anything out of place, anything that could pose a threat. You might find yourself constantly checking for exits, avoiding crowded places, or having difficulty relaxing. Even in familiar settings, you may feel the need to know where the nearest exit is, just in case you need to make a quick escape. While hypervigilance served a purpose in the past, keeping you safe during a traumatic event, it can be incredibly draining and disruptive in the present. The energy it takes to stay on high alert can leave you feeling exhausted and overwhelmed. It can make it difficult to enjoy life's simple pleasures and to feel truly at ease in your own skin. Activities that once brought joy may now feel burdensome, and moments of peace can be overshadowed by a lingering sense of unease. However, there is hope. Through therapy, mindfulness practices, and self-care, it is possible to retrain your brain and calm your nervous system. Healing from trauma is a journey, but with the right support, you can learn to feel safe again. Imagine a life where you can walk through the world with a sense of peace, where you can enjoy the beauty around you without fear. This is possible, and it starts with taking the first step towards healing. When it comes to unhealed trauma, our minds often develop clever ways to protect us from further pain. These protective mechanisms are our brain's way of shielding us from the overwhelming emotions that come with trauma. They act as a buffer, a temporary relief from the distressing memories and feelings. One of these ways is through avoidance behaviors. Avoidance can manifest in many forms, such as steering clear of certain people, places, or activities that remind us of the traumatic event. It can also mean avoiding conversations or situations that might trigger painful memories. We might avoid certain places, people, activities, or even thoughts and feelings that remind us of the trauma. This can lead to a sense of isolation, as we withdraw from the world around us, in an attempt to protect ourselves, or even thoughts and feelings that remind us of the trauma. This avoidance can become a habit, a way of life, where we constantly sidestep anything that might bring the trauma to the forefront of our minds. This avoidance might seem like a good solution in the short term, a way to numb the pain and keep difficult emotions at bay. It can provide a temporary sense of relief, making us feel like we are in control of our emotions and our environment. But in reality, avoidance only keeps us stuck in the cycle of trauma. It prevents us from confronting and processing our emotions, which is a crucial step in healing. By avoiding, we are essentially putting a band-aid on a wound that needs proper care. Think of it like this. Imagine you have a cut on your arm. This cut represents the trauma, a wound that needs attention and care. But instead of cleaning it and letting it heal, you keep it covered up and avoid touching it. You might think that by covering it, you are protecting it from further harm. You keep it covered up and avoid touching it. This might seem like a good idea at first, as it prevents you from feeling the immediate pain. The wound might not hurt as much when you ignore it, but it will never truly heal. In fact, it might even get worse over time, becoming infected or causing more pain in the long run, but it will never truly heal. The same is true for emotional wounds. Ignoring them might provide temporary relief, but it prevents true healing. The same is true for emotional wounds. Emotional wounds need to be acknowledged and addressed in order to heal properly. By avoiding the things that trigger us, we are essentially keeping the wound open. We are not giving ourselves the chance to process and move past the trauma. We prevent ourselves from processing the trauma and moving forward. True healing comes from facing our wounds, seeking support, and allowing ourselves to feel and process the emotions associated with the trauma. Only then can we begin to move forward and find peace. We often think of trauma as something that affects us only on an emotional and mental level. But the truth is, trauma is stored in the body too. Unhealed trauma can manifest in a wide range of physical symptoms that can be perplexing and debilitating. You might experience chronic pain, digestive issues, headaches, insomnia, fatigue, or a weakened immune system. These physical symptoms are not all in your head. They are very real and can have a significant impact on your quality of life. When we experience trauma, our bodies go into survival mode, releasing a surge of hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. Over time, if these stress hormones remain elevated, they can wreak havoc on our physical health. It's important to remember that the mind-body connection is powerful. Addressing the emotional and psychological wounds of trauma is crucial for healing the physical symptoms as well. If you recognize any of these signs in yourself or a loved one, it might be time to seek professional help. A therapist can provide a safe and supportive space to explore your experiences and develop healthy coping mechanisms. Remember, healing is a journey, and it's okay to ask for support. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content.